with this game is quantifying how successful certain teams are outside of killing. Everybody looks at frags as being the be-all and end-all, and that is far from accurate when it comes to Rainbow Six. Your contributions that you make, and I feel like I should... This phrase, Michael, will be on my tombstone. The contributions that you make are not always shown on the scoreboard. I feel like that's going to be slathered across my tombstone at some point because I say it so damn much. But it's true. Yeah. When you've got somebody who's doing drone work, some of your support players are going to be spending 2.5 minutes on attack on a drone. They're only going to be involved in direct action for about 30 seconds, if that. Some teams, if they're proficient enough and their entry is good enough and your droning is good enough, you're going to be finishing the round, presumably still outside the building. But guess what? You were integral for your team netting 3 kills, even if that's not going to be reflected on the score sheet. So with that said, I've talked quite enough. I'm sure the people watching would agree with that. Ban phase is done. Thatcher, Nomad, Wamai, and Mira on a Consulate map. And very first on defense is going to be TSM. In fact, Michael, TSM is going to be starting on defense on every single map, with SSG starting on defense in overtime on every single map.
Oh, funny how that works out, but I guess the preference is clear. Now, we'll have the start here with TSM on the bottom floor. With the Thatcher ban, the Kaid is likely to be pretty useful. Malusi also going to be cycled in exchange for a Valkyrie. Surprising the Valkyrie made it through the ban phase, or I guess not terribly so anymore. We've seen Wambai starting to butt his way in there, and there you can see him banned out. With the Valkyrie being switched out for a Malusi, you're going to sacrifice some of your information in exchange for more slowing down. Of course, the ability to burn all of the explosive utility that the attack has on those Malusi gadgets is going to be significant. And we've seen actually, you know, it's funny. I swear I've seen dozens of rounds where there's been an engagement that has won pretty much exclusively because of the existence of a wub-wub.
By the way, wub-wubs would like everybody to know, as this term will appear many times, a wub-wub is the official Ubisoft sanctioned name for Malusi's gadget. Announced today that we were going to be replacing the names of certain gadgets with onomatopoeias. So in this case, wub-wub.
Wub-wub.
The Thinking Nades X Kairos are the spooms. And Bosco's hammer is, well, it's a slamming noise. So you can just
thud. Yeah, just
that's you have to. You can't even say it. Bosco's just gonna walk in and there you go. So you know what I'm doing. So
C4 will land onto Bosco. Speaking of achieved, playing inside of admin office and had some really good usefulness early on from the Malusi.
So we've seen TSM roam heavily on that admin side of things. DZ did it as well when we saw them last quarrel on Consulate. So keep your eyes peeled for that engagement. Achieved will have Bolo somewhere nearby. Not close enough. They're actually on polar opposites of this top floor. Appears that the Ash of Fultz is on Repel, watching intently to see if Achieved is going to peek, but Achieved will stay inside of admin. He's by the small desk, and now he'll make his way into meeting. Those double reinforcements will confound Fultz as a drone will go on in to try and determine his location. There is a rotate, but if Fultz gets too aggressive towards long desk, well, there's Bolo over on yellow stairs to catch him and to cut him down to size. Bolo's attention is turned elsewhere, though, leaving Achieved to be the one to engage in this fight. I don't know exactly where that Ash charge just went, but flashing onto Achieved as he misses the fight. Fultz getting the better of him on that one, and then right just like that, back to a 4v4. Bolo knows that there's somebody inside of that position because of Achieved's calls. He'll get droned out on yellow stairs, and he'll need to now do some heavy lifting as there's 2 members of SSG. He finds Thinking Nade. That's not going to be good for his cost. Hope you voted for Chala so far. Next up for Bolo is going to be the Ash of Fultz, but he sees somebody on yellow. 5 bullets left. He's going to have to go for a reload. Swings onto the Jackal. Wins the fight against Rampy. He's expecting a play from the Ash, but no, Fultz is going to hit the pause button. Canadian is going to be all on his own now, as inside a bathroom, there's the Ash of Fultz, waiting for somebody to come at him. Bolo is the man of the hour right now, is a tiny portion of HP. He sees the Ash. Flashbang goes over his head, but no, pistol cannot do much. Fultz gets that one, and with it, yellow stairs. That's a minute and a half, Michael, that have now been wasted by Bolo, and only Bolo.
I'm going to get this little bit of analysis out of the way early on. If the round is won by TSM, you can bet your bottom dollar a big chunk of it is thanks to Bolo's efforts on yellow stairs. Achieved with the C4 early was great, but Bolo really did delay, and Well, he managed to get 2 kills as well. Fultz and Canadian, though, are not out of this just yet. While Fultz is on low HP, he has been landing his shots through this match. And, well, I mean, at the beginning at least. Canadian won't land his, though, as he tries to get the angle through the hole. Nice there on Geo, who is standing up and exposing himself. It's all on Fultz, who will not even get one. Merc shuts him down, and TSM will take the first round.
Well, you said it yourself. Let's get this analysis out of the way. Bolo instrumental in that round. Achieve didn't just start things off with the very first pick. Loses that fight to Fultz, as you just saw on your screen, but Bolo, unsupported on yellow stairs, puzzlingly wins those 2 engagements. Now, both Thinking Nade and Rampy should have been able to finish that kill, especially Rampy. I could understand Thinking Nade because he wasn't expecting somebody to swing from yellow stairs. SSG had droned him out just moments before. They knew that Bolo was located on those yellow stairs. Thinking Nade did not expect him to swing, because a lot of times you'll shoot the drone and either hold that position or try to head down. We also saw Rampy come up to try and pinch him, but they were just a little bit off time. Not quite my tempo. They were dragging, by the way, not rushing, for people that are curious as to whether or not he was rushing or dragging. And then Rampy ends up losing that engagement, which Rampy really shouldn't have. And that round goes entirely different if Rampy wins it, because then you have all the pressure from that top floor taken out. You can very swiftly move towards the transition that you need down the basement, as it is a garage defense, even though TSM won that site on the top floor.
We often see those rounds, right, where the result is ultimately determined far from the actual bomb site. And
oh, yes.
That was a good example of one, as you mentioned. Here now, we're likely to see a similar effect, or possibly the exact opposite. Archives is the type of bomb site where it's always strongly one or the other. Either the defense wins before the attack can get to the bomb site by their roam, or it's a huge fight between the defense of anchors down below with their C4s and the attack trying to use operators like IQ, for example, where you see Rampy fielding here, to try and counter the pulse in the C4s from below. And it's a very unique bomb site for that, actually. Not many bomb sites are so, I guess, harshly contained, the way you could put it. But this one certainly is. Now, the entry here for SSG is going to start from the front door and work their way over to the mezzanine, and this is going to allow them some control of this middle floor. Bolo is playing at top spiral or top banana, depending on where you hail from, and you do actually have the pulse extended out from the bomb site, trying to give information to his roamers right now by yellow stairs. That could be very beneficial to the roamers as they attempt to actually engage SSG. Look at that. Bolo gets the first kill on a rush up the yellow staircase. And despite Bosco knowing it's about to happen, he still loses the fight.
His charm may be purple, the skins he runs may be purple, but in this map, yellow is Bolo's preferred color. Great shot
clever
from Fultz, by the way, onto Bolo. Still keeping in the yellow theme, those yellow stairs happen to be the location of the aggressor from Space Station that punishes Bolo down below as he chose to peek. It was ill-advised, but at the same time, Bolo was able to delay Fultz. He got that opening pick, as you noted, onto Bosco. And the thing is that no sledge on a garage take, no sledge on an Archives Teller's take. You are sacrificing the single largest contributor to soft destruction that is on Space Station's lineup. Sure, the Ash can step in if needed to use those breaching rounds somewhere if required. But in this particular instance, they're likely going to go towards utility. If somebody has breaching rounds, well, maybe they'll be able to do some work. But no, Fultz is going to claim his second kill after Rampy had been punished from the open hatch. That's a bad play from Rampy to not expect somebody to be down inside of Visa lobby. So Rampy will need to be picked back up. SSG have control of this first floor, which is what they want. Now you need to watch on the left-hand side, the 3 members of TSM all equipped with nitro cells. We talk endlessly about how incredibly helpful a pulse is with these explosives in hand, because there's going to be a moment of vulnerability where a diffuser starts to go down. It blows up, it misses. All 3 members of Space Station looking to barrel on in through that doorway. Canadian will attempt the plant. Fultz going for kill number 3, won't get it. Geo, Chala, and Achieved all are on the scoreboard. And Thinking Nade, who will try to pad his stats as best as he can, has 5 seconds. He can't even outduel Achieved. A bad end to the round for SSG there, and so far, TSM's defenses through 2 rounds looking especially formidable.
You could see Pojo Man lording over his players, making sure that they're all focused up and have sufficient fist bumps. The round there was a little bit odd, to be honest. As you mentioned, seeing Merc not expect the Valkyrie inside of Visa Lobby was unexpected. However, I'm sure that SSG thought that it was a full clear there. Sorry, not Merc. Merc was the Valkyrie. But yeah, Rampy not expecting him to be in the Visa Lobby. SSG losing HP on their IQ there was not that bad, but because the IQ was recovered, I actually thought that might have contributed to the success there for the attack. IQ, as I'm sure most of you know, has that gadget able to spot electronics, and IQ can spot things like the cardiac sensor that the Pulse has. So generally, you bring the IQ to try and suppress the Pulse, prevent him from giving information to the defense. We didn't see a whole lot of that, though, because of the time constriction. We needed to see the attack into the site. They needed to go for the execution, and that's exactly what SSG did. But because they were so limited on time, it ended up being a pretty, well, one-sided ordeal. Explosives coming out, and yeah, some of them from TSM missed, but the guns certainly weren't. When TSM forced the retake of their own bomb site, we didn't catch all of the action, but you could see it represented in the kill feed. TSM quite clearly came on top on their own retake. I like that TSM forced the retake before the plant went down, by the way. Many defensive squads will just let it linger and allow the attack to get that plant, hoping that the C4s will be enough to deny. But TSM thought better of it, and that's a good decision-making in the moment.
You know what I find on certain maps really distracting? When we're in a spectator mode and we're not actively looking at how many Valkyrie cameras are still left, you'll see something go flying through the screen and you'll be like, is that a Val cam? And then you realize that it's just like some map-based debris, like a piece of paper or a bird.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
And you think to yourself, like, what? Coastline. Coastline is a serious offender of that. There are times where it's like, I feel like little things will go flying by on Coastline and be like, oh, what was that? And then you realize, oh, that's just the map.
Border's the same, though we don't see it here anymore. It's got a lot of that little fragments of random debris. Yeah, it can be confusing. Why is it there in the first place? Is it a Valkyrie cam?
We don't know.
Is it a bird? A plane? No one's really sure.
Is that a bug? Is that a plane? Is that Alpha Centauri?
Is that a hole in the CEO wall that SSG opened up with Habana to give greater line of sight into Projector to make Chala's roam upstairs more difficult?
Yeah. By the way, that line I just quoted, is that a bird? Is that a plane? Is that Alpha Centauri? It's a line from a famous comedian, if you know who that was. Congratulations on getting the reference. At me on Twitter if you think you know who it is. Anyway, as I say that, by the way, Canadian taken out, Chala's gone as well. With Canadian gone, Diffuser will need to be retrieved, likely by Bosco. He seems to be the closest to... Actually, no, it appears that it's on that first floor. What SSG really likes to do, by the way, is they like to just swing into piano with tons of time left after they've taken control of that second floor, rather. You have me doing it again. And then watch the various angles into piano. Thinking Nade on that flank watch is usually so critical in that role. Diffuser will be juggled as TSM are just playing out the clock. They have a lot of confidence and they're moving around the map with extreme gusto. Bolo still on yellow stairs. I feel like he's just going to remain there for the entire matchup. So we don't... If you're ever wondering, where's Bolo? When does Bolo play? Right now. Where's Bolo? In Las Vegas, Nevada. Where is he on the map? Yellow stairs. There you go. You have these 3 questions. There are your answers. So with that said, as long as he can stay in his position, he might be able to strike, but Merc swings on in, takes out Thinking Nade and Bosco, punished by Fultz. Fultz has been by far and away SSG's best player, but he's going to have an early grave. 20 seconds remaining with Bolo finding that kill over by Spiral. Leaves Rampy in a 1v3. He's got utility, and he's pulled off these miraculous clutches before, but he's not going to this time. He runs headfirst into Geo, who's playing above. TSM lock out the first 3 bomb sites. That's a great sweep. They've got the cycle, and they're up 3-0.
Okay, so it's worth noting statistically, both of these teams, when it comes to Consulate specifically, tend to do better on defense. But Spacestation, if they're going to hit their typical attack half, they'll start winning rounds now because they have a 50% win rate on attack over the last 3 times they've played Consulate. Space Station right this second appear to be slacking. Though, of course, it's, we're not done yet. So, TSM looking better on defense, better in general, to be blunt. And clearly the reason they picked this map is evident. They're definitely looking very comfortable. That last round, SSG, as you mentioned, used one of their standard strategies where they attempt to sweep into Piano after taking control of CEO. This is a strategy we see employed by many teams, and TSM were ready. They not only managed to hurt the attack as they attempted to clear the top floor, but also Merc completely stopped the attack cold in Piano. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, TSM are playing into SSG's execution very well. And if that continues to happen, and if the guns on SSG continue to be as quiet as they are, please take a second to look at SSG's scoreboard. Then, well, Space Station will have a problem.
There were a couple rounds in the TSM DZ match on Monday where TSM seemed to be operating all on their own. It's something that we point out a lot about OXG, as it seems to be in OXG's wheelhouse. TSM have pulled it off on a couple different maps, on a couple different matchups, and I think that they just tailor it to their opponent. In this case, they seem to be very knowledgeable about how SSG is going to execute on all of these bomb sites. And because of that, they are always in a position where even if they're unsupported, they know that they can win when they challenge Space Station. The big problem is the only person that has proven any adeptness at all at being able to shut down TSM is Fultz. If you lose him, the rest of the team are not going to be able to make up that ground. Look at the scoreboard. I know we talk about skills not mattering. By the way, Bolo trades out with Fultz perfectly. Of the remaining 4 members of Space Station, there is 1 kill between them. That's on Canadian. So, yeah, you lose Bolo. He's been really good. Merc's had a couple good rounds. Achieved's had some good performances. Geo, even though he has 2 kills, they've all been pretty high impact. SSG now find themselves with a pretty big trouble, or a pretty big struggle on their hands. They're going to need to find a way to make up for the fact that Fultz has all of their kills. And they're not going to be able to add to it. Achieved swats down Rampy, who drops through the hatch, and now Achieved might go for a run out. We know somebody's out there. They may not. SSG are really struggling right now.
Yeah, they surely are. I think the biggest problem with SSG is their information gathering, their droning and containing of the roamers. It's been pretty lackluster. That last round was actually, or this round, I'm already forecasting this one. But what happened there with Bolo was really weird. He looked like a Fultz-seeking missile as he ascended yellow stairs just to take the fight with Fultz. It's like he knew Fultz was there, and he was like, oh, I'm going to get that Fultz. And he got that Fultz. So well played to Bolo doing his job. And now, yeah, SSG looks a little harmless. At least they've managed to, as you said, shut down Bolo. But I don't really know that that's going to win them the round. Right now, SSG hasn't done anything to instill confidence. I was going to say they've got a chance, but Merc will just ascend yellow stairs and shut down Thinking Nade. Bosco does have a hammer, and there is a floor beneath his feet, so some work can be done. But I think it's going to be very meaningless at this point.
Here we go, onto the garage wall. Selma will go off. Bosco encroaches upon the bomb site over on yellow stairs and completely misses that nade. That is very bad. His position given away, and there'll be smoke for him to try and linger through, as it'll just do a little bit of damage. Achieve does get found from Bosco. A kill from Canadian here would be able to even things at 2 apiece, especially with how low Merc is. The Canadian is toiling at that breach hole. He'll need to wander on in. Bosco sustaining way too much damage. Canadian finished off, and the 1 HP of Bosco, with a hope and a prayer, will have 4 seconds to find 3 members of TSM. He knows that it's foolish to even try, so he'll just pad his stats, and we have this beautiful view of what appears to be under the map every single time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. Maybe it's an analogy for the burial that TSM is currently giving SSG. We don't know, but TSM's up 4-0.
It certainly could be that, Parker, and I think an appropriate job done by the game to realize that this is turning into an absolute slaughter. But I actually know what that is. That's just a new bug that was introduced with the last update. In order to fix that one, you have to restart your client. Now, it's been, okay, that last round. What we're seeing, I think what everyone is seeing, I'm going to lay it out, but I think most of you already noticed this. TSM are just peeking everything. I mean, what was happening there? A Cade peeking by side of white after the garage gets opened with like, what, 20 seconds left? Is that the right call? In most cases, I would say no. But in this instance, it has clearly flustered SSG. TSM have SSG stumbling as a result of TSM's pure full-out aggression. The start of that round was what? Bolo running up yellow stairs just to take a fight to Fultz? What is that but aggression? And it continued through the round. The kill on yellow stairs from the Maestro, managing to get another kill for TSM. I believe that was Chala. No matter what, across the board, TSM have a game plan, and that game plan appears to be take the fight, go. Just go. And it's working. It's putting SSG in a really odd space. I think it's pretty obvious that SSG doesn't feel comfortable.
Well, the hope now will rest on Cafe. It's funny because when we were looking at the maps, Theme Park tends to be a pretty comfortable map for Space Station. If we get to that third map, I would suspect the needle would move in SSG's favor. But that obviously depends on what position SSG is in for Cafe, because we've also seen that TSM haven't had the best success on Cafe. One of the most noteworthy maps that we will think back on is against DZ in the major. Even though prior to that choke, we saw TSM be extremely strong on that map. Consulate right now, opening pick goes to Fultz, by the way. By my count, unless I'm missing something, this is SSG's very first technical opening duel, because the others were either TSM getting that first kill or an immediate trade. Those don't necessarily count. This is the first uncontested lead that SSG has had. It's on Merc. We've seen Merc do this Oryx roam over by Bathroom. He was flushed out by Fultz.
And obviously it is, yeah, as you said, Fultz to get that opening pick. Everybody else on SSG still struggling to find the scoreboard, really.
Esports Rookie of the Year nominee, by the way.
Yeah, don't forget to vote for Fultz. As I think he definitely deserves it, and he's showing that here in this match. The rest of his team is struggling. He is struggling harder to try and put them on the board. TSM...
If I may interject for a second here, by the way.
You may.
Ken HD was the first person to catch the reference on twitter.com. Thank you very much, Ken, about my joke, by the way. Continue.
Get a clap in the chat for Ken HD.
Is clap enabled?
I hope so.
Chat's too busy spamming cat jam, but we really need lol W, kek W, and clap enabled as well if they are not. So if you're listening, get those done. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue. I
Clap
interrupted.
no, that's okay. Clap is a pretty standard one, and I agree. Now, TSM still have full control over their site, and it doesn't seem like SSG, despite having a man advantage, is actually putting any significant amount of pressure onto the bomb site itself. That's the main thing I'm taking away from this. SSG is somewhat twisting... I don't want to say uselessly, they just haven't managed to get much done in the time that they've been afforded. They're going to need to start turning their focus to the actual bomb site so they can pressure not only the site itself to get that plant, but also the C4 players from below.
Unbelievable. Another from Fultz. 25 seconds left. He's almost broken. Danny will break double digits. Looking for yet another. Bosco picks up kill number 2 and a flawless round from Space Station as they seem to be trying to make up for ground in a hurry. They have absolute control, and as we see on a bomb site like Archives Tellers, which it just was, you can lose that bomb site in a real hurry, and that's exactly what happens with TSM. The walls close in on you, you're not playing the angles well, and the thing with Space Station was that they didn't really have much of a challenge when setting up and establishing themselves on that top floor or that middle floor, especially with Bosco being in play. I noted how incredibly important a sledge is to continuously apply pressure. Not only do you have to worry about the holes that have already been created, but everybody that's played an anchor spot on Garage, on Consulate, by White Van knows exactly what it's like when a sledge starts smashing the ceiling above you and you don't know where it's going to come from next, and you constantly have to move. There's a restlessness and there's a feeling of pressure. Bosco is a player that can bring that phantom pressure just by nature of how good he is. He clutches often. He's performed basically, incredible feats of strength on whatever operator he's on. Pair him with the fact that it's a sledge on a map that has an abundance of soft destruction on a bomb site that relies on defenders taking that soft destruction away from the attackers, and Bosco can play an almost oversized role on it.
Oversized indeed. But you know what's not oversized, Parker? The limited time Pro League skins that you can pick up to directly support Rainbow Six Esports Pro teams. They're a great skin set overall, no matter what. Pretty much all of them. Actually, no, I can say confidently all of them. I got them all. I think they're fantastic. And they support the teams. It's not much better a cause that you could purchase in terms of skins in Siege. So don't forget to pick those up as you can. In this map, here and now, the Lion in that last round was the thing that I took away most, Parker. I thought that it's been a good use for SSG. SSG is clearly dealing with a level of aggression from TSM that they're not comfortable with. The Lion is doing good work in containing that. So that's why you're seeing it now become a staple. But it might be a little bit late for SSG. They only have this last round to recover anything on the first half.
Lion is a very frustrating operator. TSM have a mute available, so they can play around those jammers wherever they may be. 3 of them have been placed, so Chala can put one down if they worry about where the Lion may or may not be striking from. Once again, we are going to see this top floor hold, something that will be incredibly common when Space Station goes onto defense at the end of this round. They will obviously be swapping sides. Now, with it being a lobby defense for TSM, holding this top floor is crucial. Fultz looks the wrong way. He doesn't see Chala playing behind the overturned table. And the best player on Space Station by a country mile is no more. All 10 kills will sit on the bench. That's 90 seconds into the round, 90 seconds remaining in the round, and SSG have lost one of their most crucial tools.
The question is, will SSG be able to work some magic with the rest of their players? We've been waiting to see it happen, and, well, it doesn't seem to be the case. Merc and Achieved both running out and getting a kill for each other. That's a good start there for the end of this half. Dignade and Canadian now up against the world, both with LMGs in hand, but, well, Canadian will drop his as he falls to the floor. Bolo shutting him down, leaving just Thinking Nade, and 50 seconds to find 5 kills. Doesn't seem likely, but he'll drop into Visa and actually get some detections there. Hear the player ascending Banana and go on the pre-aim, but from above. It's Geo to finish off the round. And TSM answers a flawless round with their own flawless round to end the half.
The setup that you see from Space Station is something they've done before. They forego a hard breacher, knowing that it is very likely going to be lobby. If it's not lobby, it's probably going to be Archives Tellers. Garage is locked, and TSM isn't going to go upstairs to the top floor. So you bring tools that work on both lobby and archives. And like I said, when it's a lobby take, Space Station loves swinging into piano, making sure that somebody has control above, having Thinking Nade and Canadian both in the same position, ensuring that you've got bathroom control, fighting the remaining members that are going to pressure you from the main lobby, antechamber, spiral stairs, or Zulu as it's called, or maybe even yellow stairs if you can hold that cross or put somebody out outside. And with Canadian on the Capitao and Thinking Nade on the Lion, you're going to smoke off piano. You're going to try and put a fire arrow for denial. The Lion is going to save 1 to 2 of those charges for a post plant. Possibly use one while the plant is going down and then use the second in the post plant once the recharge is finished. And then TSM are going to try to retake against it. Now, TSM actually met that perfectly, and it's something that they did their entire defense. They were aggressive. They peaked everything. If you allow SSG to get set up, they're going to do so in such a meticulous way that they know where you're going to be coming from. Consulate's a relatively linear map. When TSM tries to retake, they're going to be engaged in gunfights that SSG are already prepared for. So TSM decides to take the fight to them early, playing off the intel they have. They swing on the main door. They swing on Visa. They play well upstairs. Fultz loses his battle inside a projector. And just like that, the setup that SSG needs, they no longer have the man count to pull it off. And that's what causes Thinking Nade and Canadian to go upstairs and have to do the clearing themselves, at which they lose both of their gunfights.
So, heavy roam upstairs, shield set up, all the 9 yards here for SSG. A double shield setup. What are words, Parker? A double shield setup here in connector and by Bosco spot. It's always funny to me when someone other than Bosco on SSG is playing Bosco spot, because it was affectionately named Bosco spot. It's where Thinking Nate is.
When
right?
he was on Era,
Where
by the
Thinking
way.
Nate is, yeah.
When he was on Era.
Because he
Yes.
was playing, he played that spot really, really well. I think he was the meta setter because for a long time people had trouble holding Projector, but he managed it. Anyway, the hold upstairs is really stalwart, and a run out from Canadian will catch Achieved off guard, but it is a one for one. So it's not the end of the world for TSM. But I like that Canadian is taking the fight to TSM despite the round disadvantage.
There's obviously confidence there from Space Station still. This is a team that makes it to the finals of SI after being pummeled. They had the stuffing kicked out of them by NIP for 2 straight maps, and then still managed to make a comeback happen and then win the trophy. So clearly this is a team that is not going to be too phased by pressure, especially against an adversary like TSM, of which SSG has a very good rapport against this squad. Their record against them is better than most teams. They're going to continue the killing, so defense obviously working out quite well through the 1 round that we've seen from Space Station as they blunt some of TSM's momentum. They take down Chala. Chala has a set of smokes. For TSM, they have a backup in Geo's hands, though we don't see smoke strats being the be-all end-all on Consulate.
Nah, not a lot of smoke strats as of late. We haven't really seen them really used that much, actually. But TSM could still make something happen without the smokes. Especially with the Evil Eyes in play, it's unlikely to actually work out well. Right now, TSM's just looking for picks. You can see them making a bunch of holes. Even with, Selmas, they're using what they've got at their disposal to try and pick up a pick or two. This is going to be a late flank from Bosco, but Fultz will go down as Merc entries into Piano. Thinking Aid inside of or above Bathroom will get 1, and there's that flank working to down Geo, leaving just Merc in the 1v3. Not going to happen, though. Rampy shuts him down, and SSG on defensive Consulate proving their worth.
Not exactly the most inspiring round for TSM on attack. Once again, unpredictability is the name of the game. TSM harnessed it on that first defense. Space Station turns around, does the exact same thing. Always moving, always flying under the line of sight of TSM. The run out from Canadian does get traded off. You've got the play upstairs, the aggressiveness inside a Projector. You've got the aggressiveness playing on the main floor, over by Lobby, over by Piano. And it's going to cause these teams to continuously re-drone and reassess where they're going to attack from. Mute has been an operator that has been present for most of this map. He obviously makes it a significant challenge for teams to be able to gain information. Space Station is going to fall back on a very reliable set of operators for them. Many would argue they were the best team in the world when it came to this meta, which was popularized in large part by them, which involves Mute, Mozzie, Vigil, and maybe even a Castle. Castle obviously absent. They're going to go with Maestro, who's available. Maestro's ban rate had started to go up since Echo's not in play anymore, but thankfully for both of these teams, given that Merc, Fultz are both very capable Maestro players, he's available. Thinking Nade's going to be on the Maestro this time, though. So SSG is going to fall back on a strat that worked so well. When the meta shifted away from the Mute Mozzie meta that we saw, which is information denial, which was the very beginning of this 20-second meta that a lot of people talked about, and now has moved to this utility denial or this utility removal simulator meta, SSG have seemingly shown that they are not as capable as they used to be. They're still a very good team. No longer the undisputed best team in the world. I think it's funny that they're going to run with operators that maybe not the most optimal across the game, but for SSG obviously shows a certain level of comfort.
We could call it the burn and build meta. It's all about having enough burn to clear out ADSs and Womais, explosives to destroy things, and plenty of things to build, shields, Malusis, Evil Eyes. Just throw it up. Make it so you have to chew through all of the nonsense. I don't know. There's a couple other names I'm sure you could come up with, but like basically, yeah, it's a pretty monotonous meta for most players. On the top of Yellow Stairs, Rampy going to be rotating actually over to CEO. He'll have a good line of sight into Projector. Now he can delay further, but he's being tracked by the Jackal of Chala, which is actually going to force a... I think he's tempted to rotate out. Yeah, there you go. He's already left. It's a good rotate. The Mark still in CEO will distract TSM for a solid amount of time, and SSG can potentially leverage that to take this round. Finally, though, TSM has cleared out the top floor, and they'll start to turn their focus to the middle floor, where Bolo will win the Fultz fight. It's a big one, as Fultz has actually been a little bit quiet as of late. Canadian shutting down Bolo, though, as he attempts to descend yellow stairs, and TSM, well, they're going to find themselves at even man count once again.
SSG might not be staring down match point, but they are pretty damn close, and they're going to be on that razor's edge for a while, though 3 rounds can disappear relatively quickly depending on how a cycle goes. The thing is, well, TSM are on the harder side of this map right now, based on what we've seen, which is attack. They're managing to keep it relatively even, though Canadian has really woken up 3 kills so far for him on defense. Merc now dropped inside of the main lobby. That means that it's Geo in a 1v3. Bosco picking up 2 kills. He is uncontested upstairs, playing inside a projector, very close to Bosco's spot, as we talked about. So will Geo go for a reset? Because, well, he's got utility left, but this is going to be a big challenge because the members of SSG are smart. They're going to deny him entry to the garage. They're going to deny him entry to yellow stairs. And they're going to deny him entry to piano, because those are the only 3 avenues that Geo has any realistic shot at taking with 30 seconds remaining. He's not even going to make it past yellow stairs. It's another kill for Canadian. That's a huge round from him. He had a big round the round before on Valkyrie, and on Kaid playing this beautiful rat angle. I love to see it. Spacestation takes yet another round, their 2nd in a row.
So TSM took control of the top floor. They almost got control of the middle floor. But before they could fully solidify their control of the 2 top floors, SSG retook upstairs and ended up doing a lot of work from it. They also managed to stay alive in that middle floor and actually fight the roam clear and win, which is not uncommon. It's not normal, though. And so props to SSG for a really solid roam. TSM wasn't even given an opportunity to execute onto the site. In fact, through this entire map, we've yet to see much execution onto the bomb site. That's been a trend line that we've been tracking through this one. It's been mostly fights with the roamers and the roam clear. We'll finally go to archives for SSG. See how they fare here. They're bringing plenty of C4, and they'll also, I'm sure, have Rampy on the roam. Jackal still being brought from TSM. I think that's wise. The Jackal is going to be very helpful when it comes to clearing out those roamers, or at least speeding up that process. But overall, the roam clear has been one of the biggest faults of both of these teams' attacks.
No, it's Fultz.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, it's close, Parker, but I don't know. That's a stretch.
You said it's pronounced Fultz.
It's a stretch, Parker. I mean, I didn't slur, did I?
You said Fultz. You said Fultz with a New Jersey accent.
I'm trying to imagine a New Jersey accent. Could you help me out?
No, absolutely not. I'm not doing accents on broadcast because I'll just make a fool of myself. Just ask Bacon. Bacon does a great New Jersey accent, probably because he's from there.
Okay, I will ask him for a clip sometime. And the admin...
No, it's Eclipse.
Oh, okay. Now I see my mistake, Parker. Forgive me. In the admin office, we've got a Rampy trying to stay alive on top of the filing cabinet. He's going to do his darndest, but he's actually basically trapped right now. So his main goal here is waste as much time as possible.
This is a very similar spot that we've seen Vigils play in before. Jaegers can also play here with ADSs at their disposal. I don't think we've ever seen a Wamai play there. Not sure. Speaking of Jaeger, he's very present in admin office. It's thinking nade. Geo picks off Fultz. So the Mozzie was playing inside of the top floor. Well, actually, I don't know his exact position. It looks like he was in projector. He's not going anywhere. Rampy also taking a ton of damage. There goes a flash. It gets eaten by the ADS. Rampy head down, tries to soldier on, but he can't go anywhere. Have they figured out Thinking Nade's location inside of admin? Because right now, TSM has SSG on the ropes. 2 kills for TSM will give them a 5v3 with still half of the round to go. Upside down repels as Jackal tracks are going off. This is not an enviable position for Thinking Nade whatsoever. He's on the run and he's finished off by Merc. We'll swing on in and take full command of admin alongside the Jackal of Chala. Canadian and Bosco, both of whom have been significantly better on defense so far, will have to keep that level of play up as they are going to fall to match point if they are unable to do so.
Well, it certainly seems like that is the outcome for this round. We'll see what they can do. TSM are not rushing themselves, though. They've gotten control of the top floor. I love the way that TSM played that, containing admin office and then clearing from CEO, managing to get all the kills that were exposed to the attack, winning that roam clear outright. They might even end it in a flawless round as Bosco goes down without getting anything for himself. Canadian trying to do something by the main lobby, but he exposes himself unknowingly, and Bolo picks up the last kill, putting us onto map point here for TSM.
Quite a lot of confidence on their side, and they have every reason to be confident as finally we will see the trend line break. However, what this means is that we still saw 2 successful defenses for SSG, and now the cycle will begin anew. They won lobby, they won garage, they forfeited archives tellers. That was the one bomb site that TSM gave up when they were on defense. So back to lobby SSG goes. They win here. They go to garage for round number 11. Suddenly, this is a much closer matchup than it is right now. Obviously, that's us getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, because regardless of what side they're on, TSM have looked like they are far more in command of this map than SSG. SSG's strategy of being unpredictable, taking gunfights, etc., just like TSM did, worked very well on those first 2 bomb sites. Didn't work so well on Archives Tellers. Archives Tellers is a bomb site that when you lose, you can lose quite quickly. We talked about this extensively, and SSG's investment on that top floor got picked apart within the first minute or so by TSM, at which point we saw SSG go down to a 2v5. Doesn't really matter what bomb site you're playing on. A 2v5 is incredibly difficult to hang on to. The only bomb site I can really think of where there'd be a fighting chance would be the top floor dorms bomb site for Oregon, but that's really the only one. Outside of that, you are going to be hard-pressed to hang on. So opening pick's obviously very important if TSM can continue to win the opening duel fight, which so far, by the way, they have only surrendered 2 opening duels to Spacestation. That's it so far through the 9 rounds that we've seen. If TSM can crack that nut, so to speak, then they'll have no problem with the rest of the round, I'm sure.
Valkyrie cam outside, I think. Should give good information to...
Or debris, we don't know.
Or yeah, or debris. That should give good information to SSG, and if it's debris, then it's useless. TSM will get the first pick in the round. Down goes Rampy as Merc just walks into Visa lobby. That's going to be probably the beginning of the end as Canadian gets aggressive and dies himself. TSM are, I'm sure, very happy with the results of the first minute of this round and are looking, I'm guessing, to carry this into a win. TSM will probably play this smart and slow and careful to not make any mistakes that could cost them the round that they've already bought.
I was actually talking to Flynn last night. Disgraced caster, by the way, now current player, has achieved kills Bosco. I just wanted to call him disgraced because I know that he's watching and I know that he's going to be unhappy with that. But anyway, he was talking about how if Mirage prevails from the Canadian division, that he said, we're going to have to play either SSG or TSM, and then he laughed. So obviously not happy about this outcome right now through one map. It sure seems like it's going to be SSG if this tempo keeps up. Thinking Nade takes out Bolo and he'll head back to lobby. There's another challenge for him heading towards Visa. He'll wait. Oh no, Merc goes on to cams. He gets off at the right time. He manages to catch Thinking Nade as he wanders away. A minute left. Toxic Canister will go up. As Thinking Nade will now head towards the bathroom with Fultz watching inside of Zulu. A drop from Thinking Nade. There's Merc to punish him. He gets read like a book. Merc is just performing quite well. It's been the story of the Ash mains so far. Another kill is available for him as Fultz is prone. Diffuser going down, and Merc will get it. That was a quick one. 7-3 for TSM as they take their first map, and they don't seem to break much of a sweat in the process.
Well, map number 1, quite definitive.